What's going on, guys? Of course, yesterday was my off-season live stream for the UTSA Dynasty. It was the end of Season 2, and we went through everything in the off-season besides preseason recruiting, and we're just about ready now to begin Season 3, which I can probably tell you right now, first week of that season is probably going to end up being posted on this coming Monday. And so because this stream was 2.5 hours long and it's kind of lengthy and not everybody has the time to watch that, I wanted to make this video of the off season so everybody can go ahead and see it. And also what I'm trying to do is hype up as many people as possible for Season 3 in this series, because I'm really excited to see what we can do with a lot of this roster now being players that I have recruited, and the current team, or what I started out with, has gotten much older. Like when I started out, UTSA was a very young team. Most of the team is sophomores, and that means 2 years later, most of my team is finally seniors, which is a good thing and a bad thing. Like, it's a good thing because I have players with experience and they're ready to play, and they're higher rated than they were a couple years ago. But now I have a situation where I had 29 juniors last year, which means I have 29 seniors this coming year. I'm going to have to cut probably a few because I can only recruit so many guys, and that means after this coming year, it's pretty much 90% my team probably, other than freshmen and redshirt freshmen from when the game was shipped. So we have to do a lot of recruiting this coming season probably, because there is just so many players leaving, and so it's kind of a good thing that I've been doing a lot of recruiting this year as well, and I'm going to have a very big recruiting class, and that's also good and bad because I'm going to have to do some cuts later, or in this video I'll be doing some cuts later. I already did them in real life. But last year, I remember in the off season, I went back and I found a couple of late prospects that I just scouted and put all my time and effort into pretty much, and that's what I did again this time. And Tyrone Allen and Dallas Johnson, so it's a defensive end, a pass rusher, and a safety, were the two guys I went for this year because they had good ratings. They were 3-star prospects, and I didn't think they would be too difficult to go and get. Now, last year I did the same strategy, and I got Robert Stanley, a receiver that didn't play one snap, I don't think, maybe a couple, and then we also got Mike Butler, who had one breakout game where he had 2 interceptions last year. And so we're just finishing up recruiting here. There's, of course, 5 weeks in the offseason. It's kind of a drag. Like, recruiting is fun, but I don't think it's that much fun in high doses. But it was all right last night. I was doing a lot of quick calls and making it go by quickly. But we did get Evan Newton to commit, so no Fred Arnold situation here. Otherwise, there would have been a massive riot in my live stream, which was like 600 people in the stream at the time last night at this point. And then after a little bit of recruiting and putting all my time and effort as much as I could into Tyrone Allen and Dallas Johnson. Why am I saying Dallas Carter? Isn't that from like Friday Night Lights? But anyway, we have a lot more guys committing now. This one I actually have to scroll down for. This was signing day, so it was when most guys end up signing. And you're going to see the final grade in the recruiting class. Actually, we had the 25th best recruiting class in the nation. 4 4-stars, 12 3-stars, 6 2-stars, and 1 1-star. 23 total players coming to UTSA. And it was a good class. I mean, I thought I did a pretty good job recruiting this year. It is an All-American difficulty, so I got to thinking, like, maybe it could be more difficult, because that seemed kind of, I don't know if it kind of seemed easy, but at the same time I wasn't going for the best prospects. I had a really good strategy, and I was consistent the whole year, so I think I wanted to pat myself on the back a little bit. But we're looking at the training results now, and obviously after every season the guys get better, they progress, usually by at least 4 overall points, or I guess 3 if you look here. And you can see our now highest rated player is Cam Jones, the senior wide receiver, at 83 overall. And after this year, there's even more good seniors leaving. We're going to be losing Brandon Freeman and Cam Jones and Nick Johnston, Tristan Wade, I believe all those guys, Darian Starling as well. So we're just looking at the rest of the progression here, and we begin to see how thin our linebacker core is, other than Cody Rogers, who had a tremendous end of the season last year and was making all sorts of plays, sacks, forced fumbles, interceptions. That's what you want to see. And so we get to the point now that I was really dreading, which was cutting players, because I knew I had recruited so many, and we have a roster size of 83. We have to cut 13 players. So Nicholas Austin, halfback, he's gone. We're going to go ahead with 4 running backs, and none of them are redshirted. At fullback, going to have to cut Nate Shaw. Not going to carry 3 fullbacks when you only have a 70-man roster. I wish it was a bigger roster. I don't know what real NCAA teams have, but I think it's closer to like 90. I could be wrong, though. And we're going to get to redshirting in a little bit here, but just looking at the rest of the guys that I got to cut. And trying to see, like, you're not supposed to really cut seniors, I understand that, but when you're in a situation like I am, and your team is mostly seniors with 29 of them, you got to do a little bit of cutting every now and then. And so we're just kind of trimming up a little bit one by one. It actually wasn't too bad. Like, I thought 13 was going to be way too much, and I wouldn't want to cut anybody. But it ended up being not terribly bad or too difficult. But receiver was one where it was definitely packed. We had like 10 receivers, had to cut Trey White, who I recruited in the first year of this dynasty, and then we ended up cutting Chris Jones because he had really bad catch ratings and spectacular catch ratings, and I figured we can move on without him. Although he's a 91 speed 6'2 receiver, I like that combination a lot, but if you can't catch, then you're basically a Troy Williamson to me with less speed. So we're looking at the rest of the receivers. We're going to have to cut Marcellus Mack. That's another senior off the board. So we're going to have to probably recruit about 25 players to fill in those roster spots, which I'm assuming then if I don't fill in all those spots, they'll be like walk-on players, like 40 overall or something like that. I'm not sure because I've never gone through Dynasty mode this much, and I've only gone through 2 Dynasty seasons in this, so it really shows you how much I've been doing in the past compared to now. And then we get to redshirting, and I left it up to the viewers in the stream to choose whether or not we redshirted Evan Newton, which would basically choose who started our season for us at quarterback. And then I go ahead, and I redshirted the tight end we got because I wanted to see him progress a little bit before we start him. And I didn't want to take all these good freshmen and start them immediately because then we're going to be in another situation later where I have all these guys I like, but they all graduate the same year. So I'm putting a bunch of guys with the red shirts, and I got a pretty good recruiting class, I thought. And defensive tackle is an area that definitely needed to be shored up, and we have a lot more depth there than we had in the past. And I thought that we would have a starter there, but I'm going to keep 2 senior starters, which means we have 3 seniors on the line and 1 freshman in Andre Ross, the pass rusher. At corner, I recruited 4 freshmen this offseason, or during the season. I'm going to redshirt 3 of them. We're going to go with 5 active corners. We're going to redshirt Dallas Johnson, whom after this year could be the starter because he's 72 overall right now. Give him about 4 points on the red shirt, 76 next year. I like that taking over for Nick Johnston because we get burned so much that it's good to see that we're finally getting some skill in the defensive back secondary. And now it was all about the schedule. Of course, we're going to keep Texas State there, the I-35 rivalry. That's never going to change unless it turns into a thing where we'll win like 5 in a row. But I'm not sure how many seasons this dynasty is going to go. I want to get through at least 6 or 7 seasons, to be honest. And there wasn't really too many things I shook up on the depth chart. I mean, Cam Jones, Brandon Freeman, Kenny Harrison are our top 3 receivers. And I couldn't redshirt, well, I guess I could, but I didn't want to redshirt Tim Whitaker or Randy Jones, our freshman receivers, because I promised them I wouldn't do it when I didn't realize I had no senior receivers. So I promised them I wouldn't redshirt them because I was going to try to get them. Well, they're 4-star guys, so they're hard to get. And, well, I got them, and now I have to live with having them without red shirts, so whatever. And then Tristan Wade, he's going to get his starting job back over Mike Butler. I gave it to Butler after his 2-pick game because I promised him early playing time and I didn't want to make him mad. And you see the linebacker situation we have here. It is not very good, not much depth, and not much for starters either way. So we have Cody Rogers and then Dominique Carter taking over Stephen Kerf's huge shoes to fit into. And that's not going to be easy, but we're going to look at formation subs here. And David Glasgow is our starting running back this year as a senior. And we're going to have Anthony Banks, though, be the shotgun running back. So Glasgow is going to be one of the quarterbacks under center, and Anthony Banks is going to be the shotgun running back. And we're also going to be doing some changes to the playbooks. Now, I had a 4-2-5 playbook. That's a scheme that UTSA ran, or runs currently. And I'm not a huge fan of it, so I went to a multiple D so we can run like more 3-4s or 4-3 stuff I'm actually used to and can work with. And we're also going to run a lot of 3-3-5 because we don't have much for linebackers. So I want to probably get more defensive backs on the field at sometimes, and that's going to be where Mike Butler gets a lot of his playing time as well. On offense, we made a couple of changes, added the flexbone formation so we can utilize our speed on offense that we have now in the backfield. That's going to be Banks and Danny Moss as wings, and then David Glasgow in the backfield. So no actual fullback there. That's going to be a fun formation, I think, because it's going to put 2 fast running backs on the field. And then we have this Army split formation, which is going to be Glasgow and Banks in the backfield. It's not going to be a running formation for me. That's going to be a passing formation, so I didn't care about having a fullback on it. And then for our Hail Mary formation, we put in John Simmons because he has better arm strength and better accuracy than Evan Newton. But Evan Newton, he is our franchise right now. He is the face of the franchise, the starting quarterback. You got to look at him there, number 7. And the season will start on Monday, guys, in the next episode. Not next episode. I'll probably post recruiting tomorrow, the preseason recruiting. But we're taking on Fred Arnold and the Colorado Buffaloes. And look at Arnold here. He is their starting middle linebacker, and he better be ready because we're going to run it right at him all day. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this off-season episode and it gets you ready for Season 3 because I'm really excited to begin it. And so thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.